Yo guys, welcome back to another video, and this time we're going to be showcasing Gear 5 Luffy and what he can do. So we'll showcase him just his pure capabilities. So let's spawn in a boss right here. There we go, let's just spawn a Vegito. Flipping now, he's flipping DMCA'd. But first things first, he costs 2.2k yen to place, he has 4 abilities. And this de-transforms back to Cog 4, upgrades carry over, so as you can see. You can just cycle between the two and get basically attacks. So I'll check if it does work between the two, if you can just keep like spamming them. Because there's a local cooldown 1 second, just keep spamming them. So if he does attack here, you can go back to the other one to attack. You can go back to the other one to attack, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. But let's just go through his passives. You can pause the screen to read if you are interested. But pretty much he repulses enemies. He buffs the damage of allies in range by 50% if they are parrot. When an enemy is inflicted with repulsed, so when they are repulsed, he inflicts his own wanted. His wanted does 40% more yen and 40% more damage, so it's basically a higher amp than Alucard. And previous wanted used to give 30% more yen, so he basically just power crept all the debuffs in the game. And if a debuff is applied to an enemy previously, he basically overrides that debuff and applies his own wanted to them. And bosses are automatically applied with wanted by himself. So that's the first passive, pretty much. Then the next one, pretty much attacks warp reality around the attack's position. So basically, once he attacks, he does 50% damage to the enemy's hit. So 50% of his own damage to the enemy's hit. And then each attack on the same enemy buffs his own crit rate by 5%. So you can basically get him up to 100% crit rate if you're attacking the same boss over and over again. Because bosses are the main enemies you do survive for over a long period of time. Then when you attack a new enemy, it does reset this buff. Critical hits apply nullified, so if you get him, of course, with a high crit rate, you can just apply nullified to an enemy. And this bot, he deals 5% more damage per status of debuff or lockout on the enemy. And this does work with this passive, I'm pretty sure. Allies with joy inflict a random soft debuff. So that's why I bring Joe, just to showcase that part. So let's get into that afterwards. And then as you can see, all allied attacks inflict repulse. When a repulsed enemy passes on an enemy that is not already repulsed, inflict repulse on that enemy. So basically you got full repulse uptime. So once they lose repulse, they should get repulsed again. And then as you can see, he's immune to all debuffs, basically stats and effects and debuffs. When he's in transformation, he buffs his own damage by 50% per ability on cooldown. So if you get all these abilities on cooldown, you're getting 150% more damage. Buff damage by 1% per second, so after 100 seconds, you're going to have 100% more damage. When Sango transformation is deactivated, retain this buff, so he keeps this buff for 120 seconds, so the 100% extra damage. Give all allies joy. Allies with joy, of course, I've said this before, per attack, and it lasts for, it's 10% damage over 8 seconds, so depending on the damage numbers, it could be a decent amount of extra, like, just pure damage. So we'll get into his attacks and what he can do, so let's just spawn in a boss. And so you can see instantly, even though the boss is not in range, he just got inflicted with wanted. So that's just a pure 40% amp. So we're going to place Luffy right here to see his first attack. And as you can see, he does a propulse him. And that's kind of frustrating because repulsing him just flipping sends him back. But first attack is just the flipping... I don't know how to describe it, to be honest, but he just launches himself and basically punches him. Next attack is a cone AoE. And he does the munching attack, you can see. He just eats him up. That's the one he did use on Rob Lucci. And the next attack here is full AoE. And it's just a full AoE of lightning barrages, which is nice. Then next up, we've got a line AoE attack. And he does a few barrages. And you can see the path around him. It does get reality warped. Was that only one time? Yeah, you can see this is the path, I'm pretty sure it's part of this passive where it warps reality. And then next one, as you can see, this is his final attack. It's a large cone, pretty nice cone. And it's another mini barrage onto the enemy. And that's it for his attack, and you can see we can try to switch between the two, so we'll let him attack. Switch, let him attack. And then switch. So I guess you can chain the two and just keep doing them to constantly apply a bit of damage. because yeah, well, let's see if it works. So if I just cancel it, does he attack straight away? No. So he does have his own cooldown, so you have to wait for that cooldown to be up. So starting now, you let your Luffy attack, then you go back into him, he attacks. So that's work. It works pretty nice. And then of course next up you've got the Sun God punishment, which is pretty much the Bajrang gun. So it just comes into this guy and he punches down. It's kind of frustrating that my UI does the open. I don't know why the game does that. And I just can't close the W game. But his UI is pretty keen. I do like this, bro. His own unit builder. Yo, the FPS drop on that is kind of crazy, but the Bajrang gun is nice. It's just a 300% damage nuke to all enemies on the map. And yeah, it just comes down to the screen like that. We've seen the cutscene. We've all seen it. And then the next one is 800% more damage. Or 800% damage to the enemy with the highest HP. And I'm pretty sure you can skip it like this. Hopefully you can. We'll see if the instance of damage works. You can see skip it, but pretty much if you haven't seen it before, it's just the lightning attack that he does do, where he jumps up and then throws the lightning bolt. I don't want to showcase it because the time does take a long time. And then of course the last one, you got Sun God's transformation. This is where you go into this mode that you've seen previously in the boss rush, and you can just float around like him. You can just punch. So you got your melee ones. You click T, he does this. You click F, he does the lightning, and you click R, he does the... he dashes forward and punches. He's such a cool unit, man. He's so goofy. Oh my damn, stuck. And then next up we've got E. So if you click E once, this is what he does. You click E twice. Oh, you need to get the meter back up. And you got click Q. He does that. You can stun them as well. So Q stuns them, which is very nice. And you need to get a meter back up, your charge meter. So you have to keep attacking. And you can end the form if you just click H. So that's pretty much it for this Gear 5 Luffy part. This is what you can do. So we'll showcase the... So I click H to end the form. And you just skedaddle off. But you can see his damage numbers did increase a lot because he did keep this buff from the transformation. And yeah, you want to make sure we put some Joes. We can put some Joes around him. Okay, I'll keep the boss in a... I'll move another boss because he is kind of... It's hard to see what debuffs he has. So you can see we're applying different debuffs with all our Joes. Whether it be Burn, Black Flames, Prime, this, Bleed. And since you have a low SP, then keep applying them. And you see Luffy is just going to be doing more damage to him because of the constant debuffs. Deal 5% more damage per stats effect, so pretty much you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's doing 30% more damage to the enemy. Yeah, this guy's just flinging around. But yeah, Luffy's such a cool unit, he does so much you can do with him. And that's pretty much it for the Luffy showcase. So that's all I have to show. If I did miss anything, please do comment it down and I'll try to answer the questions. But that's pretty much it for the Luffy video. I'll see you in the next video. Next yeah, I'll try to make a teams video and other type of videos for showcasing Luffy. But that's it, I'll see you next one. Peace.